Picking your PCC pistol grip, stock, and lower parts can be easy, but do you struggle to know where to start? Don't sweat it, because today we're cutting through the clutter and going through the top things to keep in mind before investing in these crucial parts for your AR9. We'll help you find the best grips for better control, explain how different stocks and braces can change your shooting experience, and give you the key factors to keep in mind when choosing lower parts. Whether you're a seasoned shooter or just starting out, you'll walk away with some valuable insights to enhance your. So first of all, before we get to our decision-making process, let's do a quick crash course on what each of these components are. First up, the pistol grip. This is your primary point of contact with the gun, where your dominant hand holds the gun. A properly fitting grip will enable you to manipulate the controls on your gun, such as the magazine release or the safety selector. Most importantly, a well-fitted grip positions your strong hand to work the trigger consistently. This is probably the part where comfort is going to be the main concern here, so look for textures and angles that fit your hand comfortably. We'll get into angles a little bit later, but if you want to pick one out that feels good for you, go to a local gun store and start feeling up some different grips of the rifles. Does it place your trigger finger in the right spot? Is it too wide? Is it too thin? Is it slippery? Do you like finger grooves in the pistol grip, or would you prefer not to have them? There are a lot of things to consider, but just know grips are not that expensive. They are compatible with almost all other AR platforms and can be replaced in just a few minutes. Next, let's discuss the buttstock. This is one of the things that sets rifles apart from pistols, in that the stock enables you to shoulder the rifle, keeping it stable, and it's where you're going to feel the majority of the recoil. Not only that, but it gives your cheek somewhere to rest while you're aiming down range, and will give you consistent cheek placement, which makes lining up your shot quicker and easier. A quick thing to keep in mind is the difference between mil-spec and commercial buffer tubes. The main thing you need to know is that mil-spec tubes have a 1.14-inch outer diameter compared to the 1.17-inch outer diameter that commercial buffer tubes have at the stock end. It's a super small difference between the two, but when choosing a buttstock, that is something you're going to want to keep in mind. My main suggestion is just to get a mil-spec buffer tube and a mil-spec stock to match, and you should be good to go. Overall, having a buttstock that doesn't fit you well is not going to make for a good shooting experience, and could even to missing some shots if things are uncomfortable for long periods of time. A good buttstock can improve your shooting performance, especially during those long range sessions. At the end of the day, a good stock should be about picking one that helps make target acquisition faster by giving you things like rubberized butt pads with aggressive texturing that provides a secure grip against the body, reducing slippage during rapid target transitions, giving you the feeling of your gun being an extension of your body. If you pick a good one out and set it up right, you should be able to handle and sit behind the gun for hours without getting sore or feeling strained, so find one that works and feels good, and stick around, because I'm going to give you some ideas for some in a. Finally, the lower parts. This includes the takedown and pivot pins, safety selector, bolt catches, magazine release, buffer tube, castle nut and end plate, and all the little springs and detents. First things first, depending on the lower you went with, the magazine catch or the bolt catch may not be needed or compatible with your AR9 lower. Now, there are a few other things to keep in mind with AR9 lower parts, and we'll cover those later on, so stick around. So when looking at how to prioritize your decision making when it comes down to each of these components, start by breaking it down first and foremost by function, meaning something that works well, fits you and your needs, and won't fall apart. For pistol grips, when it comes to usability, after going around and asking our team of experts around here, what I suggest for most PCC use is somewhere between a 15 and 30 degree angle works best. What we have experienced is a more vertical grip will angle your wrist, making it easier to brace the stock securely against your shoulder while shooting and moving. Now, a pistol grip is one of those things that comes with personalized testing to see what works for you. What works for one person may cause strain and stress on someone else's wrist, so like I said before, go to a store and start feeling up some grips, and that will help you narrow down your choices. Before we cover some stock options, one thing we have to quickly cover is some laws related to stocks. As of the recording of this video, if you have a rifle with a barrel that is under 16 inches in length and you have a buttstock on it, you will need to register it as a short-barreled rifle or an SBR. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can either build a rifle that has a barrel with a minimum length of 16 inches or longer, or you can buy something called a stabilizing pistol brace. These braces were designed for you to attach to your forearm and give you a stable platform for manipulating and shooting a larger pistol like this clearly is, but feel free to use this in whatever style or position that feels most comfortable to you. Just a quick disclaimer, these laws and regulations tend to be fluid, so always stay up to date with your local laws regarding what qualifies as an SBR. So if you want to go through the extra paperwork to register your PCC as an SBR, you can choose a wide array of stocks on the market and get something that works well for you and your budget. There are lots of options, like the basic options like an A2 stock, or our team favorite here at AT3HQ, the Hogue overmolded collapsible buttstock that has a rubber cheek comb and a rubber polymer hybrid butt pad for a great price and lots of color options. For my friends out there who don't want three-letter agencies in your business, then you can grab a pistol brace like the ones from SB Tactical. These SB braces are definitely the most popular ones out there, and I personally really like the SBA 4X pistol brace, mostly because of the ridge design that feels better than other braces, and a cheek comb that feels better for my kind of handsome cheeks, so this is the one that I'm going to go with for our build. The second consideration when picking out these parts is usability. There are lots of things that will just work well, but does it work well for you, and does it work for what you intend the gun to be used for? If you're going to be operating in the wet jungles, or maybe you just have sweaty hands when you shoot, maybe you want something rubber. If you're in wet conditions, a plastic grip could lead to a bit of a slippery feel, whereas a rubber grip won't be as slippery when things get a little wet. A great example of a rubber grip would be the Hogue overmolded rubber pistol grip, which has a swappable grip that lets you pick from a front strap with or without finger grooves, as well as a back strap with or without a beaver tail, depending on what you want your grip to be like. I like the fact that I can customize this to my liking, so I'm actually going to go with this one for our build. Now, the weight of the stock or brace is another factor. If you want maneuverability and fast transitions, a light stock like the ultra popular 5.8 ounce MFT minimalist stock might be the move for you here. Along with weight savings, you may also want to think about space savings by making your gun more compact. If you want to use this in an indoor setting or store it away in a backpack, you may want to get a smaller stock like the popular Magpul Mo SLM carbine stock. You could also make your gun more compact when being stored away by going with a folding stock adapter like the popular Law Tactical folding adapter, or the less expensive Selvin Arms folding stock adapter. Both options will let you fold your buttstock to the side for ultra compact storage. With folding stocks though, you have to be a little bit more careful with compatibility with AR9s depending on what parts you have. For example, folding stocks usually have an adapter that clips into the back of the BCG, but depending on the kind of 9mm bolt you have, you may have a fixed weight that is integrated into the back of the bolt, making it not compatible with this type of folder. As with anything when building an AR, do your homework on the specific products you plan on getting and study up on the compatibility of those parts. The last consideration is looks and what you want your gun to look like. This includes everything from color options to styles. Do you want a matching set of colors that matches the rest of the receiver set, or do you want colors that stand out? Do you want a plain and simple functional A2 grip, or maybe you want things to look a little different for a cool skeletonized build, like the grip from Adaptive Tactical with their LTG that will definitely raise some eyebrows with your range buddies. The same thing goes with the stock. You could go with the basic budget option, but still functional, like the UTG Pro S3 buttstock, or you could get a little wild and look for some of the more, what I call, stylish stock options out there. Hera and Tyrant CNC both come to mind if you're looking to add a little extra flair. As far as lower parts go, honestly, if you want to deep dive into each one of these parts, how they work and how they get installed, then we have a great video for you right here. But what I'll say here is that any standard lower parts kit like ours will do the job just fine in many cases for AR9s. Components like the takedown and pivot pins, the buffer tube assembly, and all the little springs and detents are going to be the same as a typical AR-15 parts kit. But keep an eye out for what your lower receiver already comes with for lower parts, because some are going to come with more specialized parts that work with 9mm, like the mag release on our Angstat lower, for example. Or the bolt catch could be designed for different 9mm bolts and magazines. 9mm magazine geometry has a much different design than the standard AR-15 mags, so keep an eye out for these specialized parts. Once you account for these design changes, there are three big considerations for lower parts. The first of which is if you're a left-handed AR shooter, well, sorry about that, but you should probably consider an ambidextrous safety selector so you can operate it from either side. The second thing to think about with the safety is whether you want a 45-degree safety or a standard 90-degree safety. Some people need to break their grip to get a traditional mil-spec safety to rotate completely. And with a 45-degree safety, they may not need to break their grip at all, getting them into the fight faster. The last consideration is color, because there are many options out there to make your lower parts stand out with different colors. Some people don't like this, but others, myself included, think it adds a bit of personality to your wireless LED distribution device, especially in a sea of black-on-black parts everywhere. For us, I'm going to go with our AT3 OD Green color upgrade kits with a foo bag, which is a lost parts kit. This includes all the little springs and detents we're going to need. The ODG color upgrade kit will match our handguard and charging handle nicely, and when you combine the color kit with a foo bag, I get all the little parts I need, plus some extra for when I inevitably shoot some of these springs and detents across the room when I'm building. Next, I'm going to throw a buffer system in, and in order to shoot reliably and minimize recoil as much as possible on an AR9, you're going to have to tune it just right, and to be honest, this can be the trickiest part to get right on an AR9, so in next week's video, we're breaking down recoil reduction, bolt and buffer weights, spring tension, adjustable weights, extended buffer tubes, and